What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here actually in the Doom Tower. We're going to be talking about our good friend the Scarab King, and specifically the type of gear that you can get from farming the Scarab King. I know this is a boss that a lot of people don't like dealing with in the Doom Tower, but I'm going to talk about why it's very important to focus this boss, because he can get you a very valuable gear set through the mid game and also into late game in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, unfortunately, today I do not have any keys left. I did use all 16 of my silver keys to farm floor 50, and I have been farming floor 50 during this rotation to get the drops to make the Untouchable Gear set from the Scarab King. This is kind of my team I've just been using here. We've got Vogoth with the shield set, Sir Nick for his shields on his A2, Visix for her turn meter and also the shield she puts out. Madame Saris puts out her own shield, and then she's just generally good at putting down, attack down, defense down, stealing buffs from the Scarab King. If he steals any from you, you can steal them right back. And then we have Armiger, our uncommon champion, who does a really good job with the turn meter decrease and also the max health attack. We have Armiger and Visix are both in destroy sets. I think those are the only two I have in destroy for this boss, and that's generally the team I use throughout the normal Doom Tower. So that's just to kind of give you a little quick overview there. But here we are. This is floor 50. You can also farm the Scarab here at floor 30, and then I believe he's also on floor 100 of the normal tower, and then also on the hard Doom Tower. It kind of lines up the same way. Now let's go ahead and go into the forge here, and we're going to talk about the set that he drops. It's called Untouchable. Now you'll see here it gives you immunity for 2 turns, and it also gives you an extra 40 resistance. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because immunity is one of the better gear sets in this game. You'll hear a lot of people talk about farming the Fireknight to get an immunity set. A lot of people are running immunity on their arbiters, their other big characters when they're getting up into Platinum Arena. Immunity basically prevents you from being debuffed. And then resist, on the other hand, that actually is going to be a check against your enemy team's accuracy on whether or not they will land debuffs on you. And that's an incredibly important statistic that a lot of people ignore in this game. And it could actually be helping out a lot of people in the early and the mid game, especially when they're struggling in the arena. But you'll see here you need a bunch of different materials in order to get this. In order to make the 4 and 5 star level, you need the blue materials and the purple materials. Now these you can get in the normal Doom Tower. So once you get to stage 50, you can farm the purple. The blues only drop in stage 30, so you really don't want to waste your time there unless you're super early game in the Doom Tower and you're only progressing up a couple of floors, and that's as far as you can go. You will then be able to get those blues to craft the 3 and 4 star items. For me, on my account where I am right now, I'm really only interested in 5 and 6 star gear, in most cases not even 5 star gear, but for this set I'm kind of making the exception of getting the 5 star gear because it is very valuable. And you see there we do need the purple material, which we can get from floor 50 and floor 100 in the normal Doom Tower. Now when you go up to the 5 and 6 star gear, you're going to have to get the legendary materials, which are available from floor 30 in the hard Doom Tower, which I haven't quite gotten to that point yet. I'm kind of focusing on getting Akoth the Seared from the normal tower before I go into the hard tower this rotation. But I am thinking about starting to use my keys to farm up to floor 30 in the hard Doom Tower, just so I can try to have a chance at that 6 star Untouchable Gear. Let's go ahead and jump into our champions real quick, and we'll just run through here and drop down through the gear sets. And like I said, this kind of combines 2 different sets. There's a 2-piece resistance set you can get that will give you an extra 40 resistance on your champion. And then you also have the immunity set here, which gives you immunity for 2 turns, which basically means you cannot have any debuffs land on your champion. You do have to perform a little bit of a check there for accuracy and your own resistance on that. That can be removed and stripped away by, say, like a Madame Saris. So you do have to be careful on that with your resistance check. But then if you come all the way down to the bottom here where the Doom Tower gear sets are, we do have the Untouchable set. Now all this stuff here, I have actually farmed this up the last 2 nights. It's about 32 silver keys I've used on that Scarab King. You can see here you get 4 artifacts in this set. You get immunity for 2 turns plus the additional 40 resistance. Now this is actually really, really good if you can then get a resistance substat on any of this gear. Unfortunately, I do not think I've been able to get any resistance substat rolls just yet. Actually, we do have one here on the boots. So we have a pair of defense boots here. We did get 2 rolls in resistance for an extra 27. So if I were to put this on with that set, that would actually give me 67 resistance instead of just the 40. So again, very cool set. And the thing is, if you go into the Fireknight and you're trying to just farm the basic immunity gear, which was a very important gear set, it's used in Platinum Arena, it's used at the end game, you're going to have a hard time getting it guaranteed. There's so many other gear sets. There's 9 or 10 other gear sets that can drop from that Fireknight. Of course, if you're in the Fireknight farming, you want immunity, you want the Savage gear. There's all kinds of sets you're farming for, but if you're specifically looking for an immunity set to put on your arena champions, for example, you're actually better off going into the Scarab King and farming the Scarab King, because there's no way if I had farmed Fireknight the last 2 days that I would have gotten anywhere near this amount of gear that I could use from the Fireknight. So you go into the Scarab King. I know it's a tough boss to build for, but even if you can just do that floor 50 on normal Doom Tower, you're going to be able to farm up some pretty decent epic and even some legendary 5-star gear that you can then put onto your champions to increase that resistance level and to also give them that 2-turn immunity. Now, why I mentioned this for earlier game accounts is a lot of people struggle in the arena. They have a very hard time in the arena progressing through it, just trying to keep up with the basic speed meta, for example. And it's a lot easier to actually build your champions to be tanky with resistance, with HP early in the game than it is to actually get that raw speed. A lot of people are trying to get that speed. Even in bronze nowadays, you need well over, I would say, at least 150, 175 plus speed to even get through bronze. My one free-to-play account I run, I've got almost 200 speed on several characters, and it's still tough when you're in bronze fighting those enemy teams. But what you can do instead of that is you can actually go in and you can build a team that will not go first. You'll get attacked first, but let's say you have an immunity set on all of your champions. Most of the time, people in early arena are not going to have a lot of accuracy. So if you have even a decent amount of resistance, if you have a decent amount, you have the immunity gear, you're not going to have any debuffs landed on you. And if you have enough HP and defense, most of the time you can survive that initial nuke from the enemy team. You can then have your team go second and defeat their team when they have all their cooldowns used already. So it's a different approach to the arena you can take. It's something I think a lot of people ignore. I understand arena is frustrating, but a lot of times people just kind of get into this mindset of it's not fair and they have no way of working around it. I'm not saying you have to get good at arena. I understand the problems because I do have multiple free-to-play accounts that I play, and arena definitely has lots of issues down in the lower ends. But this is something that you can definitely do using even the straight resistance set you can farm up from the campaign. You can put a bunch of resistance on your champions. You won't get any debuffs on you, so like when that enemy War Maiden tries to land that decreased defense, and I'm using War Maiden because she's a very common example of a champion people are going to use in Bronze and Silver Arena to apply that defense down so the enemy nuker can go and hit harder. If you can resist that defense down, that enemy nuker is not going to hit you nearly as hard. You survive, and then like I said, you beat their team when all their cooldowns are already used. So I'm just trying to offer additional perspective on ways you can try to actually be more effective in the arena using different approach to the game, using different gear sets. I think this Untouchable set is something a lot of people have overlooked. It's one of the best gear sets in the game, in my opinion, just because it combines that immunity set with that extra resistance you would get from the resistance set. So in some cases, you would be running immunity and a 2-piece resistance set. Now you can just run immunity itself, and then you can add, you could add a 2-piece resistance for extra resistance, but now you get it all rolled into one. And like I was saying, if you can somehow get those resistant substats on those items, this is a great set for, if you're trying to go up through Gold 4, if you're trying to build a good defense team, you're trying to build a team to go up against, say, a Hegemon. This is a great set to have. You can put this on your Madame Ceres, you can put it on an Arbiter, anybody you don't want getting hit with those block cooldowns. Great set to use for that. And like I said, this has use even in early game. You're trying to look for a different approach in the arena. And in some cases, you can use this in Doom Tower as well to resist the debuffs that you're getting from the enemies and the bosses there as well. So it's kind of what I wanted to go over today. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the Untouchable set because I do feel like it is a really, really good gear set. And you're going to have a much easier time getting it from the Scarab King as opposed to going into the Fireknight and getting consistent drops in the Fireknight. Even with the new Fireknight dungeons and the better drop rates in the higher dungeons, you're still going to have a better drop rate going into floor 50 floor 100 of the normal tower, and then like I said, even going up to floor 30 on the hard Doom Tower, you're going to be able to get the materials to make the 6-star gear, which that's something I think I'm going to focus on here in the next couple of weeks, because I don't have a lot of immunity gear, as you saw up here. In fact, I don't even think I have a full row of it, and I only think I have 4 or 5 pieces, if that. If we could find it here. I always forget where it's at. I keep forgetting it's all the way at the top here. Okay, so I actually do have 7 pieces, but that's really not enough, and then even these are 4-star. It's really not usable. You know, a lot of these gear pieces are really, they're not great in terms of the substats they have, so it's like almost not even usable for where I am in the arena right now. None of this would really help me that much, so being able to go in and actually farm this Untouchable Gear for me is a much better value. It's a much better use of my time, and then you don't have to use energy to farm it. That's the other cool thing too, is you're actually using those Doom Tower silver keys, which now you can get up to 16 a day through your advanced quest and through beating the boss. So it's a very effective way to do it. Being able to get that energy, you're going to get much better drop rates. You're going to almost be guaranteed to get that gear. You know, sometimes you will still get the rare materials, but you're going to get enough. Like I said, this is just from farming 2 days of Scarab King, and with the Doom Tower being around for an entire month, the bosses do rotate in and out now, so now that Scarab King is back, it's a very good time to go ahead and focus on that. Go ahead and farm yourself up a bunch of really good immunity gear that also has that additional resistance, and I think it's really going to help out your champions, especially in the arena. If you're someone that's kind of stuck or struggling right now, it'll allow you to build a different type of team, take a different kind of approach, and maybe actually find a way to win some more matches. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Let me know if you use the Untouchable set. It's one of my favorite sets in the game. I think it's very effective, and a lot of people don't really know just how good it is. You know, it's basically just that regular immunity set, just with some extra resistance. So let me know if you're using this set. Let me know if you've had any luck with it. You know, let me know what team you're using to farm Scarab King, or if you just can't stand that boss. I know he's really difficult, and a lot of people don't like going up against him, but definitely something you need to at least try to do to try to get some of this gear. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions about anything you saw in the video, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll do my best to get you some answers on those questions. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you again next time.